Hello and welcome to Lingolab-Your Workshop for English Excellence, the podcast where we explore the art of language in the most entertaining way possible. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something rather mischievous, the language of insults and comebacks.
Insults. Those sharp, clever, and sometimes hilarious remarks that people have been exchanging for centuries. But let's be clear, we're talking about playful, witty insults, nothing mean-spirited.
Exactly. It's all about quick wit, charm, and a dash of humor. Plus, we'll also highlight some famous historical insults and show you how to respond with style.
So, buckle up.
Or as Shakespeare once put it, buckle your distempered cores within the belt of rule.
That's a mouthful. But before we get carried away, let's start with some essential vocabulary. So, Alex, let's start with the word witty. We keep mentioning witty comebacks, but what exactly does witty mean?
Good question. If something is witty, it means it's clever and amusing. It's the kind of humor that makes people think and laugh at the same time.
Exactly. Like when Winston Churchill once responded to a woman who said, "If you were my husband, I'd poison your tea." He shot back, "Madam, if you were my wife, I'd drink it."
Brilliant. That's a comeback, by the way, is when you respond quickly and cleverly to an insult or remark.
Right. Now, another important word is quip, a short, witty remark. It's like a joke, but sharper.
Yes, like Oscar Wilde, the king of quips, who once said, "I can resist everything except temptation."
That's gold. Now, let's talk about the phrase throw shade.
Ooh, yes. To throw shade means to insult someone subtly or indirectly. It's not obvious, but it still stings.
Like saying, "Oh, you finally arrived. Did you get lost on the way or just fashionably late as always?"
Exactly. That's a perfect example of sarcasm, by the way, when you say something but mean the opposite, usually to mock someone.
Love it. And speaking of sarcasm, did you know the word comes from a Greek verb meaning to tear flesh?
Wow, no wonder sarcasm can sting, but when used right, it's hilariously effective.
Okay, let's dive into some historical insults. One of my favorites is from Mark Twain. He once said, "I have never let my schooling interfere with my education."
That's both an insult and a deep thought. He's subtly saying that formal schooling isn't always useful.
Speaking of subtlety, let's talk about innuendo.
Yes. An innuendo is a remark that seems innocent, but actually has a hidden meaning, often suggestive or insulting.
Like when someone says, "Ooh, you got a promotion? Wow, I guess miracles do happen."
Ouch, that stings. Now let's introduce an interesting phrasal verb, brush off.
Ooh, good one. To brush off means to ignore someone or something as unimportant.
Like if someone insults you and instead of getting angry, you say, just brush it off.
Exactly. But what if you want to respond? Let's talk about retort, a sharp, quick reply to an insult.
Like when Dorothy Parker was told your novel is not a success, she retorted, "Neither is your hat."
That's savage. Which brings us to another fun phrase, roast someone.
Yes, to roast someone means to make fun of them in a humorous way.
Like comedians do all the time. "Oh, you're wearing that? Bold choice."
Ha! Speaking of bold, have you heard of Shakespeare's epic insults?
Oh, absolutely. He once wrote, "Thou art a boil, a plague sore, an embossed carbuncle."
Yikes, a boil and a carbuncle are both painful skin conditions. That's poetic but brutal. It basically means you're a horrible, nasty burden to everyone.
Now, we don't want our listeners to go around offending people, so let's talk about playful banter.
Yes, banter is light-hearted teasing between friends. It's meant to be fun, not mean.
Like if your friend is always late, you can say, "I set my watch back an hour because I knew you'd be late."
That's funny without being cruel. Another great way to keep things playful is self-deprecation, making fun of yourself. And if someone insults you, the best response is often to laugh it off.
Exactly. Don't take yourself too seriously and always have a good comeback ready.
All right, folks, that was a whirlwind tour of witty insults and clever comebacks. So, Sophia, what makes an insult classy instead of offensive?
Great question. A classy insult is intelligent, indirect, and often humorous. It's cutting without being cruel.
Like the famous playwright George Bernard Shaw, who once wrote to Winston Churchill, "I am In closing, 2 tickets to the first night of my new play. Bring a friend if you have one.
That's brilliant. And Churchill's comeback? Cannot attend first night, will attend second if there is one.
That's the essence of a repartee. A quick and witty exchange of remarks.
Exactly. A good insult should be tongue-in-cheek, which means playful and not meant to be taken seriously.
Like saying, you bring everyone so much joy when you leave the room.
Ouch. That's a deadpan insult when you say something sarcastic with a straight face.
Okay, let's talk about the structure of a perfect comeback.
Ah, the anatomy of a mic drop moment.
Step 1, stay calm. If you get flustered, you lose the battle.
Step 2, delay for effect. A slight pause before responding adds suspense.
Step 3, deliver with confidence. Even the wittiest insult falls flat if you mumble it.
And finally, step 4, keep it clever, not cruel. The goal is to impress, not depress.
Well said. That's why comedians are masters of wordplay. They know how to turn an insult into a joke.
Like Groucho Marx, who once said, "I never forget a face, but in your case, I'll make an exception."
Classic! As an example of wordplay, a clever twist on words for comedic effect, or the witty exploitation of the meanings and ambiguities of words, especially in puns.
Did you know that humor and insults vary across cultures?
Absolutely. In British English, insults tend to be understated and sarcastic.
Like saying, "Oh, aren't you just a ray of sunshine," when someone is clearly grumpy?
Meanwhile, in American English, insults are often more direct and playful.
Like, "Wow, you have something on your face. Oh, wait, that's just your personality."
And in some cultures, teasing is a sign of affection.
Exactly. In Australia, calling someone a legend or a mate right after an insult often makes it friendly.
And in Japan, indirect insults are common. People might say, "You are very unique," which can mean you're a little strange.
That's a fascinating nuance, a subtle difference in meaning or expression.
Right? So always consider context before using humor in another culture.
All right, folks, we explored classy insults, cultural humor, and comeback strategies.
All right, Sophia, let's talk about different styles of insults. One of the most classic forms is mockery.
Ah, yes. To mock someone means to imitate them in a way that makes fun of them.
Like if someone keeps repeating the same phrase, you can exaggerate it. "Oh, I'm so busy, I just have no time for anything."
Haha, that's perfect. Another common type is sarcastic flattery.
Oh, good one. This is when you pretend to compliment someone but actually insult them.
Like saying, "Wow, you're so good at talking over people. It's like a superpower."
Exactly. Another fun one is hyperbole, exaggerated statements that are obviously not true.
Like saying, "You're so slow, a snail just overtook you."
Ha ha, brutal. And then there's deadpan humor, delivering an insult with a completely serious expression.
Yes, like saying, "Oh, you think you're funny? That's adorable."
Ouch, that's ice cold.
So what's the best way to respond to an insult without getting upset?
Humor. If you can laugh it off, you win.
Love it. Another way is the boomerang technique, flipping the insult back.
If someone says you're slow, you say, "Well, at least I take my time making great decisions."
Smart. And don't forget disarming honesty.
If someone says you have terrible fashion sense, just smile and say, "I know, it's my personal brand."
The key is to own it and stay confident.
One of my favorite techniques is agree and exaggerate.
Ooh, good one. If someone says, "You're so dramatic," you can respond with, "Oh, I know. I'm basically a walking soap opera." Or if someone says, "You're terrible at cooking," you say, "I know. Even my toast catches fire."
Exactly. It takes away their power and makes you look confident.
Another great way to turn the tables is playful misinterpretation.
Like if someone says you have terrible fashion sense, you can say, "Oh, thank you. I was going for experimental artist today."
That's a great comeback. And what about the silent stare?
Ah, yes. Sometimes the best response is no response. Just stare at them with a confused or amused expression.
It makes them feel awkward and takes all the fun out of their insult.
Perfect. And if you want to be extra classy, just say, "Are you okay? You seem really upset today."
That's next level psychological judo.
Now, not every insult deserves a comeback. Sometimes the best move is to defuse the tension.
Right. One simple way is humor. Just laugh and say, "Oh, wow, that was creative. You've been practicing?"
It's great. Another way is acknowledgement without engagement.
Meaning,
If someone insults you, just say noted or duly observed.
it's so neutral it's frustrating for them.
Exactly. And there's graceful deflection, changing the subject smoothly.
Like saying, cool, anyway, have you seen the new movie everyone's talking about?
It makes the insult irrelevant and keeps the conversation moving.
And that, my friends, is how you handle insults like a pro.
We covered different types of insults, smart ways to respond, and even how to stay cool.
So remember, a sharp mind and a sense of humor will always give you the upper hand.
And the best revenge, living your best life and not letting words get to you.
Well said. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe for more fun and useful English lessons.
Until next time, keep your comebacks clever and your confidence high.